Most people think you need a rich uncle, a massive salary, or a once-in-a-lifetime deal to build real wealth in real estate. Jose didn't have any of that. No trust fund, no insider connections, just a kid from Mexico who learned to write code and then decided he'd rather collect whole blocks instead of paychecks. This episode, I sit down with Jose and we walk through how he went from commuting to a software job where he was listening to Bigger Pockets in the car to taking down entire portfolios using hard money and DSCR loans, and all along the way building a simple, repeatable system that he can use for every deal. We talk about why he chooses boring buy and hold over flashy flips, how he structures buy it, fix it, refi so he's not gambling on every deal, and why buy once a year might be the most underrated wealth plan you've never taken serious. You'll hear how he keeps his crews moving without losing his mind, why he gladly pays wholesalers, and how being bilingual turned into a real competitive advantage for him. And we get into the deeper side of life as well. His heart for the Hispanic community, the meetups he started, and his long-term vision to eventually become the lender that helps other families get financially free. If you ever told yourself, I'd invest if I had more money, more time, or more help, this conversation probably is not for you or for the excuses that you've come up with. But if you do decide to stick around, you'll get to listen to how Jose made one decision that put him on the hook for a large monthly payment, the kind of number that would make most people freeze. What Jose did next is the difference between staying stuck and stepping into real financial freedom. Jose, appreciate it. Welcome. I get to fly solo without Tanner today, but I wanted to bring you on. You've done a lot in real estate, grown your own business. You help out the community, Hispanic community, and give back a lot to them. So I figure you're a good person to bring on, talk about freedom and how you help other people achieve freedom. If you don't mind, just kind of start off in your South Omaha roots and how you got here to where you are.
Yeah, for sure. So quick background on me as a little Jose, right? So I was born in California. I was raised in Sinaloa, Mexico, in the Pacific of Mexico. And I was there till 12, right? So Spanish was my first language. I would come over here during the summer. My dad was a truck driver back then. So it was fun to come in the summer and then just spend a month on the truck. It was eating sandwiches probably like every day. It was a fun time just seeing all the different states, right? And then eventually, when it got to a point where I was going to start middle school, well, not technically, when I was 12, that's when they decided to bring me over. Small town of Beamer, Nebraska, 800 people. So
why there?
My dad and my uncle were living in California. When they told me that we were coming to move to the U.S., I thought California. I'm like, well, it's gonna be great, you know. But then they started working for Warner Enterprises, which is headquartered here in Omaha, right? Yeah. But they didn't like Omaha because it was just too big. They're from small town Sinaloa, and they lived in California, and it was just too hectic, right? So they went to Beamer, Nebraska. There was another couple of people in Beamer from Sinaloa. So that's also how they arrived in Beamer. And we were there for a while, graduated from West Point in 2007, went to Wayne State, and then transferred over to UNO, where me and my wife, we've been through the whole journey together in high school. I actually met her the day where they closed the high school in Beamer, and then they merged them with West Point. So I met her in West Point. That's where she's from. Well, she's from Mexico too, but yeah, it's UNO. Graduated, became a software engineer. I did that for a while. So I used to work for a contractor, Department of Defense contractors. So I would go into base quite a few times just to deploy software and stuff like that, right? And that was super interesting to see that side of things, right? From there, I had a 30-minute drive, right, from home to Bellevue, and I started listening to Bigger Pockets, and that's how I got into real estate.
Where were you living then? Were you?
I've been here in Omaha, in West Omaha. Okay. So ever since we came to college in 2009 to UNO,
So you've been out west the whole time.
yeah, yeah, I've been out there for a while. And yeah, I mean, I just took advantage of those 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. I would listen to a podcast episode every day. So this this is truly beneficial, right?
Yeah, it's I don't think people realize drive time, how much you can learn
Right.
in that period of time.
Yeah, yeah, and don't get me wrong, you know, I'd put some music here and there because then sometimes you just get overwhelmed with a lot of information, right? You need a little bit of music here and there, but I just took advantage of that stuff, and I was doing software, you know, from 8 to 5 or 6, and then I started doing real estate from 6 to midnight, 6 to 1, and
Wow.
I did that for probably like 3 years, 2 years.
How'd you
And
find bigger pockets?
so the group that I was in software, they were super big into professional development, super big. And I was a scrum master back then. It's kind of like you lead a group of engineers, and we were kind of like in competition with other groups in at work, right? So whoever read the most books, participated in the most volunteer activities type of stuff would win, and you get to keep like a little trophy in your desk for a month type of thing. So I started listening to a whole bunch of books, and then I got to the 4 hour work week. I'm like, how do people actually make that work? 4 hours a week working? That's freedom, right? And then from there, like that's what triggered the light bulb. The 4 hour work week. It's like there has to be something. There has to be different revenue streams that I can take a look at, right? I thought about doing like Amazon, like different things, and what is it called, drop shipping type of
Yep.
stuff. And I'm like, I really don't like that. I felt a little bit more comfortable with real estate because it was tangible. I had control of it, right? Like I had control of the asset and the value add scenario where you're able to like just through work increase the value of an asset, and then the bank pays you back. And I thought, like, if I could make that work, that would be, truly what I would want to focus on, because I didn't see any ceiling with it, right? In software, you climb the ladder, but the only way to make it big is to like put a app out there or develop something ingenious, or there's no thing, and that's probably
But you pretty much have to pivot to a business owner at that point in time.
right,
So
and you have to
in your
have.
W-2, you're always going to hit some kind of ceiling.
Yeah, you do. And here in Omaha, in the Department of Defense, like it's not that big, you have off it, but to get to the top, you have to be Washington D.C., Virginia, some of those areas where heavy into that kind of stuff. So that's why I transitioned over to real estate. I figured like I can make this work.
It's interesting. You didn't say Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I didn't know this before you said it, but 4 Hour Work Week was the first book I actually read as well.
Yeah.
That kind of made the switch for me, and you're the only other person I've ever met that said that book, because normally they're like, don't read that book until you've been in the business a little while. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I picked it up. It was just, I don't even know how I found it, but
Yeah.
that was the first book I read that kind of started me on my journey. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it made it for you too, because for me, just the title itself, like that just breaks it down into freedom. So I'm like, how can I get to that point? Or if I can have my job and then work those 4 hours in something else and make it work, then that's great. But then it just turned into this other thing where it just kept evolving, right?
So you were working 8 hours a day and then working 6 hours a night.
Yeah.
How was that on you personally? Like, was it to stress you out? Did you feel free at that time, or were you like, I'm just gonna put my head down, suck it up, and go?
That's pretty much it. For me, it was like, I know this will work. Like, I know I've seen other people do it, right? And at that point, I was attending the local meetups as well. So I seen these guys doing it too, right? I saw their growth. I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but at some point, like most of the people that I know were swinging the hammer at the start. And then eventually they got to where they're at, right? So luckily for me and for my family at that point, like we didn't have any babies, but my wife has started her master's. So she was pretty busy. She's the kind of person that would want to go to the library and just study at the library. So it would work out for us, right? Like we'd be getting home around the same time, and it wasn't feeling like I was giving up something to do this, right? It was like we were both working on something that we wanted to do.
So she was working on her master's, and you'd be working on real estate side by side. So y'all were still together, just working on two different things, but still spending time together.
Right. And we are like avid travelers, so we try to put something on the calendar, like, hey, we're gonna travel to this place, and that helps out a lot, because you see, okay, I'm gonna just work and push as hard as I can to get to the point where we're on a plane traveling to a beachfront destination type of stuff.
Do you tie like business goals, or maybe a revenue goal, or hey, if I flip so many houses or whatever, to a trip, or do you just schedule them?
I just schedule them. I mean, I don't try to be like, once I sell this, I can go on that, because real estate, like,
There's too much pressure.
It does. It puts too much pressure, and most of the time, things don't pan out how you expect them to be, right? Like refinances take sometimes a little bit longer. Houses stay on the market a little bit longer. So I just try to aim for that, and then just push to get, either a flip done at the end, or before leaving on the trip. But I just schedule them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start in real estate? What year?
2018.
18.
2018.
So you you started a good time with the run up.
I did.
So you've been through the run up and now the run down. So
the cycle.
Things have changed a little bit. When did you leave your job?
2021.
21. Okay.
2021. And I wasn't in the Department of Defense side the whole time. I switched over to a commercial side of things. I started doing software for Proxibid, which is like an auction company. And then I became a consultant, software engineer consultant. And the thing is, because during COVID, like, it was actually kind of funny how it happened. Like, we went on a 3-month trip to Mexico, and I was working remotely, doing both real estate.
This is during COVID when it shut down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was before. It was like right in it. We left in January, and everything shut down in March, right?
Okay.
So we were supposed to be there till like April. And then I got a friend that called me, and he used to work for American Airlines, and he's like, hey, things are shutting down. You should come back home. And that's when we booked the trip back. But right before we came back, like, we got let go from Proxibid because it was bought out from a company in England or something like that. And I'm like, oh shoot, like COVID is here. I got let go. How does this look like? Luckily, like, I put out my resume and I got hired by April. So it was a nice little break there. But it was crazy. It was also a little bit weird, right, with real estate. Like, people were in limbo. Is this going to go up? Is this going to go down? And people would have never predicted what happened. Yeah.
Did you think about getting out initially whenever it first started? Or you just like, I'm just going to, because you were still flipping at the time, I assume. Probably not where you are now, but you were flipping 1-2 at that time.
Yeah, I never really thought about leaving it, because my mentality was always like buy and hold, like generational wealth, right? I do flips here and there just because they make sense to keep the transactional money coming in and out, but I've always been a buy and hold.
So you've been buy and hold from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you started off more flipping and then transition.
No.
You just flip to hold.
Yeah. I basically get paid on the refinances. Yeah. And that's why I never really thought about leaving it during COVID, because I'm like, it pays for itself right now. I don't have to worry about it. People still need a roof over their head during COVID, right? So I feel pretty comfortable just pushing forward. We actually had a curfew here, till like 8 or 10 here in Omaha. Like, you couldn't be out and about on downtown and stuff like that, right? So I was working on a property, and you hear like the helicopters and stuff like that because of all the riots and stuff like that going on as well during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was I was fixing up a house. I was doing the flooring and stuff like that, and I just head home at night because I was laid off at that point. I had more time.
So did you start off doing a lot of the work from 18 to 21 or so?
So I did not necessarily a lot, but the easy things, right? Like flooring, and that's what I did. Flooring, paint. I had my wife paint it with me at some points. Like we were actually just cleaning up the basement, and she's like, "Oh, this is my paint outfit." Like, we don't need that no more, luckily. But yeah, I did a lot of the easy things.
Okay.
You know, just to be able to put in, sweat equity into these properties.
I'm assuming being Hispanic was easier for you to find contractors, as a lot of them here in Omaha, or I'm sure most other places. Did that benefit you?
It did. It did
You're able
tremendously.
to speak Spanish and being bilingual and helping the that, I know that's one of my struggles have always been like people, the communication's never been completely perfect.
Yeah.
And like, I thought you were gonna do this. Oh, well, I thought you said this type thing. So, but yeah, it works out at the end, I think.
Yeah, it does, and yeah, it helps out quite a bit. Like most of the people that have been helping me throughout this whole part of it have been Hispanic and Spanish speaking, so it does help tremendously to be able to speak the language and then be able to explain what you want. Right,
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference. But we try to keep things simple, right? Like the same paint color, the same flooring, the same fixtures. Try to not complicate things, right? Keep it simple, stupid type of thing.
So, do you do that even with flips, or do you get a little more fancy with flips versus your buy and hold?
That's a good question. We do change it up a bit, but I have a list of things for like rentals and things for flips, right? And we go higher end faucets, higher end light fixtures and stuff like that. Even the tile, sometimes I do go into the store, floor and decor, and then just pick out, like this is what I would want for something like that. But even for flips, we do try to keep it as well, like the same stuff that we use for
Makes it
flips.
simple.
It does.
My neighbor just got his first investment property, and so I
Nice.
went walking with him a while back, and I'm like, oh, it's him and his wife, and like, oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. I'm like, you're keeping this as a rental? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, don't do any of that. Like, just, it was older, so they had the nice like solid oak cabinets and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, we'll change this out. I'm like, listen, these cabinets are way better than what you're gonna buy. Like, just paint them, reface
Right.
them, whatever you want to do, but don't go changing everything. So it'll save you a ton of money, and renters don't typically care. Like, they might be there for a year or two and then move on. So
Yeah. We try to not overcomplicate things, right? Like sometimes the guys call me and they're like, "Hey, this and this and this and that," and I'm like, "So, what would you prefer to do? Like, what's the easiest solution that you think will last the longest?" And they're like, "Well, we'll do that." They just want that reassurance sometimes, but yeah, it's just keeping it simple. I think that helps out a lot. Like even like the shirts, right? I just bought like 10 shirts, so I don't have to think about what I'm gonna wear every day.
that's why I pretty much. It's funny when I started a podcast and the editor was like, "Oh, you should change your shirt in between." I'm like, I wear black shirts every day. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't even want to think about it. So it's a great point. Like, it's just I make enough decisions throughout the day. I don't want to make another decision on what I need to wear. Like, I wear the same blue jeans, the same shirts. So
Yeah,
yeah, it makes life a lot simpler.
it does, man. When you don't have to really, like I said, just make a decision on the simple things. Like you have more brain power for the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
For the complicated things.
Yeah, it's definitely that. So you went from flipping these onesie twosies, buy and hold onesie twosies, to now buying entire blocks.
Yeah.
So that was a big transition. I mean, since you quit your job in 3-4 years, I mean, how many of you had a whole block that you did 6 months ago or whatever it was,
Right.
but and then did you get a second one since then?
Yeah, we've been buying portfolios. Luckily, like people have trusted me with those big decisions. It's like when people decide to sell, and when it's not just one, it's 10, 12. Like being able to actually come through and execute, it's big, right? Not a lot of people can do that. So I found out, like I pushed myself. I didn't even know I could do that, right? So I pushed myself to get there. And when the first one happened, it was like 16 properties, and then 9, and then 20, and then it's been exponential growth. This last 12 months have been just crazy.
So, I mean, that's going from a flipper, buy and hold person to an actual business. Like when you're talking about doing that on scale, like you have to have systems, processes, people, all that stuff. Has that been the hardest part for you? Systematizing. I know when you first stepped out on your own, we were talking about like just picking up materials. Like you're running around picking up materials and make sure the guys each and every day and just building the systems out. Has that transition kind of been the hardest?
It has been because of the just figuring out project timelines. The refinance process is just like a snowball, right? Like you have to be able to keep on feeding it, or else it just cuts off, right? So the timing of things is pretty imperative that you get that stuff down, right? Because if you run out of money in the middle of, basically, if you're in the middle of 20 properties and you run out of money in the middle of 20, then you're kind of screwed, right? So it's the timing phase of it too. Like I was able to essentially work out some terms where for those 20 properties, like we closed on 10, and then we closed on 10 a month later, right? So that gave me a little bit of buffer room to be able to finish, let's say, 4, start the refinance process, and get money back out in 3 months later, right? But hard money has been imperative as well.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that how you're taking on these larger portfolios? Is with hard money?
Yeah, yeah, and it's expensive, man.
I was about to say, is that nerve wrack? So we'll just pretend I don't know exactly what each home price is, but you're talking about taking on hard money on $1 million. Say you buy 10 houses, they're $100,000 a house,
Yeah,
and then you still have to pay for renovations.
right.
So now you're making simple numbers. You're buying it for 100,000, you're putting 50,000 in and refinancing it for 200 to get all your money out. That's got to be pretty, especially your first time, a little nerve wracking. I would think, like that's a $1 million loan at 20% interest. Give or take whatever you're paying. That's a big payment every month.
It is, man. It is. When it came time for that payment to come out, I was like, I was like, oh man, this is gonna hurt. And like I said, it's all about timing, right? Like not all of the properties were empty, vacant, right? So we served non-renewals on like 5, and we worked
They're all
on
month to month.
yeah, that's the other thing that made it work out. And luckily, like even the previous landlord, that's actually something that we added to our lease. He had in there that if I sold the properties, like the new owner could essentially serve a non-renewal notice on that kind of stuff, right? So we did take that clause and add it to our leases because it helped us quite a bit. So we would send non-renewals on 5, we'd work on those 5, send non-renewals on the next 5, worked on those. So I wasn't completely like out of pocket 20, 30K coming out of my bank account for the hard money, right? So it's a lot about timing and like putting the pieces together so where they don't just all crumble.
That's what my wife always asks me, like, what do you like about this? She likes puzzles. And I'm like, this is my puzzle. Like, business is a puzzle. Like, how do you fit all these pieces? Like, oh, this doesn't quite fit there. Like, you can either jam it in or you can find the right piece or whatever. But
Right.
that's what it is a big puzzle. How do I take these 10, work on 5, work on the next 5, refinance these, and keep building?
Right.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And the people around you, man, like I couldn't have done anything like that if I didn't have the right people, like the financial broker type of stuff, right? That would help me find the DSCR loans. those DSCR loans have been truly helpful, because banks right now, or a year ago, weren't so happy or thrilled to be lending on real estate. Like you would see 80% LTV, and now it's rare to see that 80% LTV, right? So a lot of banks locally are tightening their belts. They don't want to lend out that much. So the DSCRs, if it makes sense for them, they just move and push forward. I did one initially, and that was very painful. And that was somebody else. And I thought it was going to be like super quick, right? Because they don't take a look at your taxes. They don't take a look at anything like that, right? But these people were asking for like receipts of every single little thing. I literally like sent in like 300 documents to be able to get a DSCR loan. But then I'm like, they can't all be this painful. There has to be other solutions out there. And I started, talking with people, and I found other people locally where it is so much easier. It's just leases, deposits, the security deposits, showing proof of all that stuff, your LOC docs, and you just push forward, and they make it happen. 3 to 4 weeks.
So you go there, you buy the property, non-renew, they move out, you fix it up, you get it could be the same tenant, it could be a new tenant, in a nicer, cleaner place. Then you go refinance after that. So that's kind of where you're saying about 4 months or something like that for the process.
Yeah. It does take around 4 months on something like that. So it's constantly, right? I do a package of 4 houses that I refinance, and then I'm already thinking about the next 4. And I'm already like compiling all the documents for that next refinance and stuff like that. It's just, I have a mastermind that I go to, and they're like, Jose, what number of refinance are you working on now? Because I'm always working on a refinance, because that's what keeps it all moving,
Is that one of your main things right now as far as jobs, just getting the refinances done? Now that you kind of have the systems and processes of flipping down?
Yeah, it is. That's one of the things, and as well as like materials and like project timelines, right? I don't necessarily pick up a lot of materials now. I just order online. Menards, they send you a ticket that I send the guys a screenshot of, and then they go and pick it up, right? But it's a lot of figuring out what's next, and staying in front of the guys, like in front of the materials, in front of the things that they need, in order for them to be able to accomplish their job.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds more of a headache than I know if I want to do. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
about how many do you have a goal that you try to do every year? Like some people are like, oh, I want to flip 100 houses. I want to flip 3 houses, whatever it is. Do you have a goal there, or do you just kind of take them as they come, and like depending on the bandwidth of your team?
It's all about the bandwidth of the team, right? Like if sometimes I do get deals sent out and to me through wholesalers and other realtors, and if I've got my hands full and it's not in a desirable location, not that desirable location, right? Then I don't even take a look at it. I'm just like, I'll pass on this one. I'll pass on this one. But it's all like if it makes sense. And my guys, I see like a space in the calendar. I'm like, okay, I'll buy that, and I'll just plug it in. Like right now during the winter, right? Like I'm very hesitant to take on large projects, right? Because it's just very time consuming. The guys won't have heat for a while, so that's pretty painful. I don't want to put them in that position. So I bought projects where it was interior work, right? And I essentially lined it up in the calendar so that the guys could move on and from project to project. And, I'm good probably till like March right now, just on projects.
Oh, wow. So you're already built out through the winter, or most of the winter at least.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So not only have you created freedom for yourself, through flipping and all that stuff, but now you're trying to give back to the community, the Hispanic community, and help them out with obviously help them out with jobs and stuff like that, but also teaching them how they can become financially free. Kind of break some of that down. What have you done? I know you had a RIA thing that you did for a while. Now you've kind of done smaller coaching, if you will, one-on-ones, but kind of what have you done?
Yeah. So I did set up a Hispanic RIA, and we went strong for a year. And it was, I loved it, man. I loved it. Like, I like to just spread the love for real estate, because I think it's a no-brainer, right? I think it's better than putting money in your 401k. You have control over that stuff, right? So I really try to nourish the real estate holding aspect of it, right? And tell people about it as much as I can. Like even the HVAC guy that I work with consistently, like when he started seeing all the different projects, and like we were working together consistently, like he started buying, which is nice, you know. It's and it's good to see that people are starting to do that kind of stuff, right? And we did that for a year, and it kind of like went into the back burner because we had our baby boy. And at that point, I made the decision to spend more time with my baby boy and my family. But it was I still have those connections. I still people reach out and they're like, "Hey, is this a good deal or not? What would you do in this scenario?" And we still have those conversations. And it was nice to see that spark in people, because you see different faces coming in to those meetups, and just to spread the knowledge as much as possible, because most of the Hispanic community, like you said, like has the talent and has the knowledge on how to do
Hard work too.
Yeah, the value add stuff, right? It's just the financing aspect of things and tying it all together, because to them it was mostly like, I need to have all the cash in order to be able to do this. And that's the misconception that I have to break through. That I'm like, you don't have to have all of that stuff. I prefer to have 20,000 on each property and buy 5 instead of just 100K, right? They're like, no, but debt, and I'm like, it's good debt. It's leverage. You can't do this big thing without leverage, unless you have a rich uncle or something.
Is that, out of all the people, say you've seen 100 people through the RIA, how many of them took action?
I'd say probably like 10 or so.
10.
Yeah.
So out of those 10, how many, what do you think set them apart from others that didn't take action?
It's just their hustle, how much do you really want it, right? And for them, it's like, it's good to see it like, I don't have any other option but to do this, right? Because if I want to provide to for my family, or I want to have that generational wealth aspect of things, right? Or that retirement, to them, they're like, I need that, right? So once they put that actually into perspective and really, appreciate what real estate can do for you, the light bulb goes off, and then they're able to actually do it. And I'm not about like hand holding as much, because I want people to actually take action, right? So when people would come to me and just ask like, "Hey, real estate sounds pretty awesome. What can I do?" And I'm like, this guy is probably just wants the Cliff Notes type of thing, right? Like when people came to me with actual specific questions, that's where I'm like, okay, I can spend a little bit more time with this person instead of just trying to paint the picture for this other person, right? I think it's action takers. That's what differentiates people. Some people want 100% of the data. Others can do it with 80 or 70. In my case, like I'm shooting from the hip a lot of the times, So I take a lot of action, but then I also have like a good sounding board with my wife that helps me, be like, are we really, at that point where we can do that, or does it really make sense? So I always have that little, her voice on the back of my mind. that helps out a lot.
You talk about shooting from the hip. Were you more conservative when you started off in 2018?
No,
No, you were same way.
I was the same way. Like, I think I was less conservative back then because I was like, I could do the work. I could make that happen. Like I can stay, up at night till like 3 or 4 a.m. working on this place. Um, that's why I was a little bit less conservative because I put in the sweat equity, right? And now I'm like, I don't want to do the work. I need to pay for someone to do the work, so it has to make sense. So it was
Yeah, I got
different.
a guy I know. He does 3 or 4 houses a year, but he does all the work. That's his. Like, he wakes up 8 o'clock. He's at the place. It's his whole job. He does well doing it, but now he's kind of at that point. He's like, oh, I need to start hiring people to do the. I mean, he hires some things like bigger electrical things. He'll hire,
Right.
certain plumbing things, but he'll re-side it. He'll change all the windows. He'll do the flooring. He's buffing the floors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, pay somebody $20 and let them buff the floors. Go rent the machine, pay them $20 an hour, and let them buff the floors for you for a day and do something else. But it's that give and take, and a lot of times when people start off, that is the only option is to do the sweat equity and get started. But at what point do you think is it? I've done 5 of them, so now I need to start. If I want to take this serious, or should you just go as long as you can? Do you think there's a tipping point where it makes more sense to hire?
If I could, do it again, the start of it, I would just hire everything out if
From
I
the
could.
start.
I wish, if I did that, because if you buy right, it's like the Japanese, right? You buy right, then you're set. Money's made when you buy right. So that's why I say I was a lot less conservative back then, but now like I buy where it would make sense for me to hire everything out, uh, which it does, And I would say if I was starting, just plan that you're gonna hire everything out because you get burnt out pretty quick if you try to do what I did, And luckily I didn't because I'm the kind of guy that just perseveres through stuff, right? A lot of resiliency, but because I know the end goal, the end result, right, of it. But you could get burned out, especially working those 14, 16-hour days. So, and then you get discouraged about real estate too. If you do get burned out, you're like, it's too much work. So real estate has a lot to offer. It's just pushing through it or doing it right from the start.
So what's next for you? Like you're buying block after block in Omaha, and you're kind of in the same area. You're in the South Omaha ish area, Are you continue in that area and just help fix things up there, or what's your plan?
So I have actually started to buy quite a bit stuff in Florence area.
Okay. So more north.
Yeah, more north as well. So the plan is just to continue to build a portfolio and establishing like a right business structure. I want to potentially go into different stuff like what you did. I'm truly impressed with buying the plumbing company and stuff like that. Like that's amazing. That's buying another business too, right? Like that vertical stack type of thing, right? The integrations between real estate, plumbing, an electrical company, a title company. You see that a lot, right? People buying that vertical stack. So I do want to eventually, once I can put this stuff on autopilot, start experimenting with other things.
Yeah, that was my. I done a few flips. Did buy and hold flips, if you will. And I'm just like, this is a lot of work. Like, I had people, one contractor got arrested. He just disappeared on me, and find out he's in jail. Someone took his tools because he just left his tools there, and then he wants you know, hey, where's my tools? I'm like, I don't know where your tools are. Like, you left them laying around. uh, you know, people stealing stuff. I'm just like, this is too much work
Yeah.
for what I was doing. And so I was like, I'm going to spend this, because you're building a business when you're building or flipping. And I was like, if I'm going to spend this much energy, I want to build it on something that I can sell. I'm not saying that I'm going to sell, but I want to build a business to a point that I can sell. You know, I was talking to a guy, he sold his business for $70 million. It's like an insurance business. And he only sold half of it, actually. So it was worth 140. He sold half of it for 70 million.
Impressive.
And yeah, and still owns the other half, and still gets a W-2 from it. So I was just like, how do I do something like this?
Right.
And so that was kind of my biggest thing is where's the biggest payday at the end of the rainbow. So maybe I'm selfish with that, but
No, I mean, you've got a goal, and you know that's something that's going to help you and your family. So why not work for it? You know, it's
someone's got to do it.
yeah,
So
yeah. Why not be me? Right. So yeah, I like that what you did, and I like to have further conversations about that kind of stuff because it's super interesting, right? Buying a business and then putting the right foundation under it, and then just kind of like your baby now, you know, let it walk by itself.
Yeah, it's not as talked about as I think it's becoming more talked about because real estate cash flow is drying up a little bit more. So it's becoming more talked about, but it's out there. And with baby boomers retiring every day and businesses just shutting down, we interviewed a guy, Paul, and that's what he does is just sell the businesses. And he was saying like 77% of small businesses never sell.
Oh yeah.
They just shut down their doors because they can't, they don't have anybody to hand it off to. They don't have the means to sell it. They don't know that they can sell it. They don't know they don't know that it's something sellable.
All right.
So it's just, or they want too much for it. I mean, that's the other side of it is that they worked in it for 40 years and
It's their baby.
it's their baby, and they'd rather shut down their baby than perceive that they're giving it away for nothing. So
Right.
a lot of interesting things. That's actually one of the reasons I asked you about how many people do you see take action, because when I tell people that I buy businesses, or I have bought a couple businesses, they're like, oh, how do you do that? And they want all this information. And then you're like, you'll never do anything. Like, I can sit here and give you all that I know, and you still won't do it. Well, what about this? Or what about debt? Or, you know, a lot of the same objections that you heard. So
Right.
I wish I could come up with a way that, like, just that one answer, and then they were like, oh, dude, I'm going to do this. Because you want to help the people, but they don't want to help themselves. And so it's so frustrating.
It is, right? And then you get disappointed when people just like fade off, you know, into into the bag. So it like you know that this is a good thing, right? How can you make people do this good thing? You can't really make them do it, right? They have to want it for themselves. But yeah, I mean the action, that's what differentiates a lot of people, right? Massive action sometimes. And it doesn't need to be massive, you know, like I tell people just so that they don't get overwhelmed, like just buy one a year. One a year and you're set, you know, 10, you can keep your W-2, you can have that security on the back end and just buy one a year, you know, and then you'll be good. You know, you'll have your retirement plan all set up. You don't need to rely on Social Security or what else is going on in the world. You know, you can just rely on what you have control of.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just buying one a year. Like, just buy something every year. You'll get a little bit of tax advantage. You'll build wealth. Like 15, 20 years from now, it'll be double what it was.
Yeah.
You can take all that money out interest free. Like, I'm a huge fan of. My daughter's 18. She's going to UNL. And I'm like, buy a house next year. Like, oh, blah, blah. I was like, you can buy for 3.5%. I was like, I have my real estate license. I'll give you my commission. All you really have to do is come up with 1% of the value and whatever the fees are for an FHA loan.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you know, she did look a little bit, but I don't think she's gonna rent next year, and then maybe the year after I can convince her. But Like just start off young and just buy
Yeah.
one. Like you can live there for the rest of your college and then move out and just rent it out.
Yeah.
Get a 4-bedroom that you can rent by the room and just start off there.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. Just I see people doing it right now that are 21 years old. I started when I was 29. I'm like, man, I wish I would have been, bright enough back then.
Yeah, I think I was 39, so
Yeah.
I feel like I'm behind the curve, but hey, I took the action. And a lot of people go in there at 18, 25, and I go to these meetups, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you hear, there's one guy I think of, he's there every week or every month. I'm like, oh, have you bought anything? No, no, no. I'm like, why do you show up? Like,
Yeah, what's gonna really make it for you? What's gonna be that little information piece that's gonna make you take action? It's just take action. You learn, and sometimes you pay your tuition through some of these things where, you break even on some of those places, but that's your tuition that now you'll be able to not commit the same mistakes, right? But yeah, I mean, and then, like this guy at 21. I bought a property from him, that he actually bought, and he mostly does wholesale, but it was impressive to me. He got probably like 40K out of this property, and I bought it. Gave him those 40K, and to me, like it didn't hurt to give him those because I know the asset and I know the value. But 21 just making 40K on a single deal, it's impressive to me. Like that's rocket fuel.
so you talked about paying tuition. I know that you paid for coaching. You mentioned masterminds, other groups, stuff like that. Do you feel that's helped with your mindset and kind of been a catalyst to, actually, funny I mentioned that because that was one of the first ones I know you took was called Catalyst. I think that's what it was called, but anyhow.
Oh,
Do you feel like that's helped you out, coaching and masterminds?
yeah. So I mentioned when I was in software, I got so lucky to be put in that group, at Northrop. That these guys, Darren and Josh, those were the project managers. Like they push really hard for professional development, and I just became super passionate about that kind of stuff. Like I was not the guy that would read a book. I was not the guy that would listen to a book. I was soccer, music, just the fun things, right? Like I did my work, software engineer. I wrote code. And that was it. But then I joined their group. And they were super hardcore into professional development. And it's been like put into my mind that, if you really want to grow, like that's the way, right? And professional development, whether that's books, masterminds, meetups. So like I started going to the Omaha real estate meetup because I had actually presented at other meetups related to software. So when I got into real estate, I'm like, there has to be a meetup related to this. There has to be people with a similar interest. And that's what drove me to that meetup. So it's always been professional development. Not always. Once I became part of that group, it's been professional development ever since. Like, I know I can continue to learn. I know I can continue to grow. So for me, it's exploring that, right? Whether that's through a book or masterminds. And with masterminds, you see people doing the stuff that you want to do. So that's why it makes sense to be part of this room.
Yeah, that's what I just got back from a conference in Vegas, and
Nice.
I paid for the backstage. So I was there talking to Ed Milet and all these big name people, and just asking them questions, and you just see what they've done. Like Ed Milet was Forbes magazine top 50 under 50 or something like that, like richest people in America.
Wow.
And so like you're back there with them, and you're like, man, like it just lets you know that it's possible. Because before you see these people on Forbes magazine, or you see these people like on stage or something, but when you're actually able to have a one-on-one conversation and ask them questions and get tactical stuff about your business. Like, well, if it worked for them, it's got to work for me. You know, type. I mean, that's at least my mindset.
It is.
And just knowing that you get in the room with I was talking about the guy that sold his business for $70 million. Like, he was in the military and he got out and, you know, kind of, it was all timing and stuff like that, but he worked hard and like, man, if he can do it, why can't I? And that's just always been my mindset. And
Right.
that's where I think those rooms help, like getting in the mastermind and getting in these groups or going to the meetups. Like that's where I start. You were actually, I think, one of the first people I talked to at the meetup. So
I'm sorry.
because I think it was like my second or third one. Because when I first went to them, I just ran to the back of the room. I didn't know there was like a networking thing to this. You know, like I just ran to the back of the room and kind of hid. And I went to like one or two of them, and then I met you at the RIA. I remember talking to you, and then Ted walked over or whatever. But yeah, it was. That's where I started. There's the little meetups and bigger pockets. So
Yeah, I think that's powerful, man. Like having that mentality where you're like, if that guy can do it, why can't I? And that I've always thought like that too. You know, like when I see other people doing it, I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, and to me, it was initially like it was a little bit there was a little bit of fear there, or going to those meetups because like when I got there, I was also the guy on the back, you know, and I do the thing where I look around and I'm like, you always try to find someone that looks similar to you as well, right? And I didn't see that like at the meetups, and it was just like me. And I think Irving was there. He used to work with Colin, and then we started bonding too at that point. But you don't see a lot of that, right? But I still have that mentality where if they can do it, I can do it, and that has helped me push forward quite a bit, right? Because these people are dealing with $200,000 problems, you know, and you have a $10,000 problem. It can be solved. And Owen mentioned once, like if a problem can be solved with a check,
you don't have a problem.
You don't have a problem. You know? So that has always stuck with me. That you know, you can solve problems.
Do you find kind of one of the themes I've heard through this is finance has always been your biggest problem? Not necessarily in a bad way, but it's always been that figuring out process. Has that kind of been your hardest thing as you've grown? Yeah,
the financing aspect of it has been hard.
Do you feel that's been the thing that holds a lot of people back? You talked about debt and bad debt versus good debt. I know for me and my wife, that's been one of the biggest things. She's like, because we started off with a Dave Ramsey camp.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went from Dave Ramsey, no debt, to give me tens of millions of dollars in debt, you know, but it was reading books and changing my mindset where she hasn't read those same books and hasn't changed her mindset. So it's always been a point of contention, if you will.
Yeah.
You find that with other people?
Yeah, and I think there's a compromise, right? And that compromise is your leverage percentage. How much leverage, how much are you leveraged? But yeah, a lot of people have that mentality where if you're borrowing money, you know, it's not the right way to go about it. But for me, it's like there is no other way. Like I don't have a rich uncle. Like there is no other way. The only way for me to build this portfolio or generational wealth and stuff like that is through other people's money. So it's funny. Like I was just on a phone call with Colin and another person. And they're like, well, people probably think because I'm from Sinaloa, like I got the Sinaloa cartel back at me, and it's not. It's the liquid lending cartel, and it's the friggin' Allen Strong cartel. Like they're the ones that are funding this stuff, right? And like I tell Alan and I tell Colin and Owen and everybody that lends me money, like I truly do appreciate your trust because there's some trust behind it, right? That they see that I can execute and they get their money and they get paid and everybody's happy. and I don't get mad about having to pay those, $20,000 a month
Yeah.
tickets, because they're enabling me. It's they're just fuel, added to, like, this rocket ship, right? Like a rocket without fuel, it just sits on the ground. But once you add that stuff to it, that money, then the sky is no longer the limit. You just push forward. So for me, has just the financial aspect of it has been a little bit hard, but I know that there's money and people willing to provide that opportunity for.
Yeah, you're speaking very much from an abundance mindset. Like your 21-year-old kid that had paid $40,000 finder's fee, basically. You're paying Owen and Colin and Liquid Lending, or Alan Strong and Strong Lending, or I forget the name of it. But anyhow, so you're talking about hiring people and paying them and all that stuff. So it's I think that's what helps, is having an abundance mindset and knowing that I'm gonna get mine, but I can help other people. And I think that goes back to you starting the RIA, like the Hispanic RIA. Like you're giving back to the community, but also you're like, there's plenty of pie left for everybody. Like I don't need to.
Yeah.
My wife's always like, why would you share all this information with other people? Well, for one, only 10% of them are going to take action, and for two, like there's enough pie for everybody to eat. We're not eating table scraps, crumbs off the table. So I think that mindset is what's helped you as you've grown quite a bit. So applaud you for that.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And like you said, I mean, I want to see other people doing this. I want to see, like, eventually my goal is to, with the portfolio and the equity of that, like, be able to lend out money to those people that don't think it's possible, right? The Hispanic community, I want to show them, how this is possible. I've already put the proof of concept out there, like I've already done this hundreds of times, so it's possible. So yeah, that's the other, hopefully in the future type of thing, where we'll be able to go into that equity and lend out.
So what's your future freedom look like? Like, are you want to move back to the Pacific and sit on the beach and go fishing every day, or what's the at least split time, because it's getting cold here right now?
It is. It is. It for me. I want to have a place down in Mexico.
You go back quite a bit.
We do. We try to travel almost every 3 months. We try to go out, and the baby hasn't stopped us. We just learning how to travel with the baby, and I want him to explore that. To see that and let that be his normal. Because for me it wasn't, but it doesn't have to be the case for my baby as well, right? So we want to have a place down in Mexico and enjoy that during the winter months, and just enjoy time with my family, like with my wife and my baby boy, and with other family members. Like I want to provide them experiences. Like that's to me, like when I see somebody experiencing something new and their smile on their face, and that's my family member, like that makes me happy. It's like, oh yeah, I made that happen. Like when we went to Europe with my wife, like I showed her around and like nice restaurants and stuff like that, and it's good to see like their smile on their face. Like that's what pays off all of this stuff. Like that's what adds to my little fuel tank for pushing through those problems, right?
Yeah. So when you get back, you're like, oh, I'm ready to go.
Right. So, yeah, I'm gonna buy another block. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what part of Mexico do you talk about moving back? Are you more on the coast, or you like more of the city?
We like the beach. We like the beach quite a bit. My wife is from the central part of Mexico, so like she had never seen the shrimp that I see. Like my shrimp are freaking in the Pacific, and the shrimp that she gets in Guanajuato were like this bite size, and she's like, "What is that?" So we like Cabo, we like Mazatlan, we like Cancun. So possibly one of those areas. Just have a nice little place down there that we could also, Airbnb out. So I wouldn't necessarily be paying for it. It'd be paying by itself.
Live there 4 months out of the year and rent it the other 8 months.
Right.
Do it. So, what does freedom mean to you? Obviously, you're in search of financial freedom and all that stuff, but more holistically, outside of financials, what does freedom mean to you, especially being raised mostly overseas, or not overseas, but outside of America?
Right.
What's your goal for your kid and for yourself?
Freedom, I'd say to me, is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, right? So, like being able, essentially, my wife just quit her W-2, right? Just because we want to be able to have that freedom to pick up and go wherever we want to, freedom to me is to be able to, like, my baby can make his decisions of what he wants to do without having to take a look at the price tag. Like, does he want to explore music, Europe, whatever he wants to explore. Like, I don't want money to be an issue. I want him to explore whatever he's passionate about. Like he can go on into it and not have to worry about that kind of stuff. And to me, it's just, like I said, I want to own my time, and I do that now. I want to be able to just pick up and go. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, you're here midday on a Tuesday, so you got some kind of freedom. So
there you go. Yeah, and that's it. And to me, like I essentially want to be and get to the point where I spend a little bit more time, helping out other people, not necessarily buying homes myself, like, in acquisitions mode all the time. It's just like, no, I want to talk to people because I enjoy it. I enjoy sitting in front of a room and preaching real estate. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that part of it as well.
Do you feel like real estate will always be part of what you do?
Yeah, I'm passionate about it, man. I'm passionate about it. It fuels my my heart, my finances, and my freedom. It's part of it all. So I think I will always be involved with that kind of stuff, because then at some point, like I won't necessarily be, out there looking for the best deal. At some point, it's just gonna be like, yeah, let's just that one. We'll be buying on market type of stuff. So it'd be fine. But yeah, I like the potential of it.
Awesome. If someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the, let's do this. I'm like, oh, Jose's my man. I need to reach out to him. What's the best way? I think
Facebook is probably it for me. They can go to the RIA page and find me, Jose Pena.
You're on there.
I'm out there.
always looking for the next block to buy.
Yeah. So yeah, they can reach out via Facebook. I think is the best way.
Perfect. Well, Jose, I appreciate you coming and taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk to us. So
I appreciate the space.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Ryan.